Welcome to the Overnight Success Podcast. I'm Cristy and I'm the co-founder at the Optimization Specialist. And I really want to talk about a little bit more about who I am, what I do at the Optimization Specialist, who we serve, and how we can help you potentially. In this solo episode, I will be talking a lot about my knowledge, and that's kind of the intent that I plan to bring every time that I do a solo episode. So the really neat thing about the Overnight Success Podcast is there'll be co-founder conversations between John Clark and I. There'll be client conversations and lead conversations, and then solo episodes. So today, here I am on my own. I just wanted to give a little bit more of a background of who I was and why I'm passionate about serving entrepreneurs and small businesses at the Optimization Specialist. So I'm going to back up, and as many stories start with entrepreneurs, they kind of have that bug from an early age, right? And so I remember being 6 years old, begging my dad to go to work with him and say, please let me come answer the phones and help the secretaries and file papers. And I learned how to start typing, listening to the boss recording memo emails back to clients. And it was a really neat experience. By the time I was 10, I was already starting my own side hustle. I was knocking on neighbors' doors and asking if I could clean their houses. And so kind of marrying the idea of I'm really passionate about serving others and clean houses and like clean systems. And I learned how to get good at that. So fast forwarding through school, I put my head down and I focused, and I graduated with my business degree when I was 19 from a university, UC Riverside. And in the process of that, I realized that I really like business, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And when I was 19, I was too young to get hired on in a lot of different roles. It was 2008, so the market wasn't great. We were going through a recession, and I didn't really know what to do. So in that time, I decided to stay with my job that I started when I was just turned 16. So I was in the grocery store and worked my way into a management role. And after I left, they had to hire 3 new people to do my job. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. They wouldn't promote me to a higher role, but I was doing something right. I applied for corporate and I couldn't get in and things like that. So then I decided, okay, how about I try property management? So I shifted gears. I got into property management. Typically, it takes a while to get promoted in that industry. Within a year and a half, and I was an assistant manager. And within 2 years, I was a property manager. And I'd moved to Texas, never been a property manager, and said, like, I'm going to make it happen. Well, fast forward through that process, I ended up realizing that in that role, working in a new lease up and under construction property in student housing, which is very different than conventional housing, that there was some magic in what I was bringing to the table. In a future episode, maybe I'll go into more detail with in a conversation, but ultimately, when I left, they hired again 3.5 people to do the role that I was doing. And I thought, there's something here. Well, when I left that role, I went into consulting. This was back in 2018. And I recognized that I really enjoy helping businesses improve their processes and systems, because strategically, I can see what that looks like. So what do I mean by that? If we take a step back and I look at my strength finders, my top 5 strengths include discipline, strategic, learner, focus, and responsibility. And when we look at strategy, a lot of times that's trying to understand what's the vision and where are we going. Well, the hardest thing when we ask people in business is like, where do you want to be in 5 years? A lot of times they don't know. So it's really hard to articulate that to an employee. And when we start to identify, hey, like if our employees don't even understand where we're going, or I as a business owner don't understand where we're going, it's really challenging to aim for that North Star or that target. So I bring that in because there's been many pivots in the Optimization Specialist. It started as a different company. John Clark and I decided to partner, and now we're scaling what is called the Optimization Specialist. And at the Optimization Specialist, we're on a mission to help business owners save time, money, and resources. And how do we do that? Well, you've probably heard about it in a few of our other episodes, so I won't go super deep, but we look at the primary components of your business. So the people component, because if you don't have customers walking in the door and you're not serving those customers at a high level, then you're going to have no business. And if you're not making money, then you have a hobby. So we are here to help optimize your systems. Now, when we look at that, we use what we call the toolkit, which is a CRM, people management. CRM is customer relationship management tool. And when we look at the production management or project management, we've become partners with ClickUp and Monday.com. And while a lot of companies, especially small business owners, have several technology tools that they're trying to use, it gets exhausting. So what we've recognized is that many companies use disjointed systems, and meaning that they're using them at like maybe half capacity. The other thing we've realized is that they're not experts in them. So what happens is, as these teams start to grow, now you've got multiple opportunities in your tech stack that you're not using at its full capacity, but you don't have a team that understands what you're working on or how to do the things because you're not well versed in them. So that's our unique value proposition, is we actually can come in, help you remove multiple tech tools and get you into one or two platforms so that you're not doing a ton of context switching. And we're able to strategically help you implement these tech tools that are specifically built for you and your company, and then implement those back with your team. So there's not this hurdle. One of my favorite phrases that I learned is, you can't read the label if you're in the jar. And when we start to look at that, the idea of it is, imagine you've got a jar and you've been building your business and you're inside the jar and you finally decide like, hey, I need to get a third party perspective. That's where we can come in and we take this third party approach, or a 30,000 foot approach. And we help you work on your business instead of in your business. And when we're building these things out, there's a lot of challenge behind doing this on your own internally. And you might have a technology expert, you might have someone who's very sophisticated in technology. However, they're still in the weeds, they're still getting pulled around. And what we've recognized is that being able to come in as a third party, we can actually help you move further faster. So who am I and why does it matter? Is strategically, I am here to help serve entrepreneurs and small businesses to build their businesses with the proper tech stack. Because people are expensive, people are exhausting, like people are built for communities, so I'm not discrediting that. But what I am saying is that when we start to look at the technology and we start to look at scaling your team, it's best to have the proper systems in place before you bring other people in. So through the overnight success, the reason we named it that was because we want to bring in people who are building businesses, who are scaling, who are willing to share their story, who are excited to be on the entrepreneurial journey, and that everybody is using technology in some way or another. It's 2025, and we're on a mission to help you optimize that. Now, when we look at this episode, I could go really deep into kind of my skill sets of operations and marketing and strategy, but I want to keep it high level, and just this episode is to introduce. So going forward, I'll share short tips on operational management, strategic management, how you can help move your business forward. And those are the lenses that I will take when I do episodes with other founders and entrepreneurs, is trying to understand how they became quote unquote an overnight success. Because at the end of the day, we all know that it's very challenging to build a business, and we all understand that there are complexities that you just don't know until you've gone through it. You have to walk the walk. You can't just talk the talk. And when we start to look at scaling businesses, who you surround yourself really matters, which is part of the reason that we wanted to invite the overnight success business entrepreneurs onto our podcast. So with that being said, I want to give one tangible tool as we walk away. As we're still early in the year of 2025, I'd encourage you to really evaluate, where do you want your business to be by the end of this year? And where do you want your business to be in 5 years and even 10 years? If you can start to create momentum behind small, consistent action or focused, determined action, then you're going to see some hockey stick growth, because overnight success is not real. Many entrepreneurs and business owners work for 3 to 10 years before they see any kind of progress. So if you're already seeing progress in your business and you've put in the reps, then let's talk about what that story looks like, because entrepreneurship doesn't have to be lonely. And we're living in a global world where I believe we don't need big box stores to monopolize the marketplace anymore. So I'd love to hear what you're aiming for or what you're striving for in your business in the next year, 5 years, or even 10 years, because it's very powerful. And obviously there'll be some twists and turns and pivots along the way, and give yourself grace, because we're all human. But at the end of the day, we're here to make a difference. And as any business is in the marketplace and they're serving their customers, we're here to solve a problem. And the problem that I believe I'm here to solve and help in my unique value is that I can provide strategy and operational excellence to your company so you can save time and money, even resources. And you can help your team not hit burnout, because we're going to help you alleviate all of the context switching, all of the task jumping, and these different complexities by really taking a strategic view at your operations. So with that being said, today's a little bit of a shorter episode, but I'll be back for another solo episode in the coming weeks. And if you're interested in more, make sure you subscribe and like our video and subscribe to this message. Thanks, y'all.